G'day guys, today I'll be going over some big calls for the upcoming 2022 AFL season. A few days ago on Instagram, I asked you guys to drop down some of your biggest calls for me to go over in a video. However, a good portion of the responses I got weren't really too outlandish or just weren't big calls in general. And another response that I got, well, I just don't know how to explain it. There was the one though that I was appreciative of from my mate Jack Philpotts. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be winning the Brownlow medal in 2022. So he's already got that one spot on. So we even have to go into this video. So we start off the boat with Jakey H08. He predicts that there'll be 4 draws or more, including one in the finals this year. Now, draws just don't often happen, do they? I mean, 2021, 3 draws happened in the season, which was a massive amount considering that on average draws tend to happen just over once a season. And the last time 4 draws occurred in the season was way back in 1977. West Coast and Geelong to finish in the bottom 6. Now, I do see the West Coast one being quite probable, particularly after their massive smash against the Dockers in a preseason game. Geelong, I think, will drop, but finishing bottom 6, they'll need a lot to go wrong with the list that they still have. The Gold Coast Suns to play finals. Well, I just don't see that happening. Richmond bounce back and win the flag. I'm sorry, Rolls, but I'm just not one of those people that see the Tigers responding. Look, they didn't have a great year in 2021. Yep, fair enough. Injuries, whatever the excuse you want to bring out. But no amount of luck is going to bring the Tigers some more success this year. Carlton finished in the top 8, and this was submitted by a heap of people, which doesn't surprise me. A lot of people want to see the Blues making the top 8, and it's definitely a big call considering that the last time they made it was in 2013, and every single year people say that the Blues are finally going to make finals. This is their year. And, well, the truth is it just doesn't happen. A small forward will win the Coleman medal. The last time a forward that I'd consider small to win the Coleman medal would have been way back in 1975 when Lee Matthews won the Coleman. It's always the big, tall, key forward that wins the Coleman. You know, I'd like to see someone like a Charlie Cameron or a Tom Papley come close, but I just cannot see that happening. Now, I'll go over a few All-Australian big calls that we've got suggested. We've got Rowan Marshall. I like it. Potential ruck backup. Jade Gresham, another Sainer that came back from injury. You know, you never know. Robbie Tarrant, we're getting less probable. I mean, let's be real. If Robbie Tarrant wins the All-Australian, Richmond win the flag. Will Day, again. And then Anthony Elsiani goes Willem Drew. I mean, he did break out last year with the 24 games, but he needs to have another monumental season in which he'd have any chance of making the All-Australian. Now, I've got some more big calls for another award, and this one being the Brownlow. Essendon Insider reckons Zachy Merritt wins the Brownlow. Geordie Bishop has gone for Dusty to win the Brownlow. Brock Williams has gone for Andrew Brayshaw to win the Brownlow. And Zay Bennell goes for Carl Amon to win the Brownlow. The closest, maybe Dusty, but that's a stretch. Like, Dusty would have to have a monumental season for him to get anywhere near it. Again, if Dusty wins the Brownlow, Richmond won the flag. St Kilda or the Blues to finish in the bottom 4. Marcus, I'm not a fan of that one. I think both of us are in a similar position. I went to the practice match the other day, and I felt like both sides were similarly placed in where I reckon they'll finish this year. Knowing the Saints, it wouldn't shock me. However, what would shock me though is the next big call predicted by Millock 106 for the Saints to win the grand final. Melbourne did it in 2021. The Bulldogs did it in 2016. Richmond broke a 37-year drought in 2017. What goes to say that the Saints can't get it done in 2022? What goes to say we can't pull off a miracle and defy all the odds to win the flag this year? The biggest winning margin and score will be surpassed. The real Zipsy, I have to say that so far in this video, that's the most outlandish big call to ever be suggested. The highest scores that we were seeing last year were 167, which is incomparable to the highest ever score of all time, which is 237. We all know that the scoring has decreased quite significantly over the last 15-20 years. West Coast finished bottom of the ladder. I mean, West Coast preseason just keeps on getting worse and worse for them and just makes me want to place them even lower on my ladder predictions. But for them to finish bottom, that would be absolutely disastrous for them. Geelong not to lose a game at GMHBA Stadium. Go time. As much as I feel like Geelong will drop off a bit, the Cats are a complete powerhouse at GMHBA. They just don't lose there, even when they're not going so greatly, which is really never. They're just an absolute powerhouse, so it definitely wouldn't shock me if that did happen go time. 3 teams to miss out on the top 8 after playing finals. Bailey, you would think right by reading that, you know, it's quite an outlandish prediction, a big call. It's part of being in the video, but when you think about it, it happens more often than not. I mean, it happened in 2021. 3 new teams made the top 8 from the year before. And not just that, though. There's a new team that ends up finishing the top 4 after not even making the finals the year prior. I mean, we had the D's in 2021, the Power in 2020, the Lions in 2019, the Tigers in 2017. I mean, it happens more often than not. So again, that honestly probably will actually end up happening. Nick Dacos finishes top 10 in the Brownlow, says Dylan Field. I mean, considering the Pies aren't going to be great this year, he's going to get a lot of game time. He's going to probably dominate in the midfield, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we saw it with Matty Rao. He was starring the first few rounds of the season in 2020 until the injury. So, yeah, it could happen. Giants to make the top 4, says Holmesy05. I honestly don't mind that. I don't mind that as a big call. I can see that happening. Giants are probably one of the most unpredictable teams coming into this season. I mean, they could finish as low as 12th or 13th or finish as high as the top 4. Now, I like the next one. Freo or St Kilda to do a Melbourne in 2021 and rise to the top. I would absolutely love it. Even if it happened to Freo, I would love either of the two sides to potentially win the flag this year. But it won't happen. Now, I'll finish off the rest of the big calls in a quick fire style. I'm going to be going over them quickly. Gus Benson, Levi Casbolt kicks 50 plus goals for the Suns in 2022. AFL legend, North Melbourne finish above West Coast. Could see that happening actually. Zach James, Adelaide to finish above Richmond. That one probably not as likely. The grand final to be played at Optus again. Please don't if that happens, I will be absolutely livid. That would be worst case scenario for the AFL and for my channel. Jordan McCleary, D's finished outside of the top 4. Even more outlandish, Ferguson, Melbourne bomb out and don't even make the finals altogether. Bulldogs to miss out on the top 8. Tex Walker to never play again. Stuart Dew to get sacked before round 10. AFL broadcaster bring back the 5-minute warning. I tell you what, if that happened, that would be amazing. Gold Coast out, Tasmania in. And finally, we end off with an absolute classic. Essendon to win a final. Can they do it? Can Essendon win a final? Let me know in the comments, because it's one that every year the Bombers fans are up and about thinking that they're going to get it done. They beat the Dogs in the preseason match. Many are thinking they're going to win the flag after that, but they can't even win a final. Now I'll quickly go over a few that I've come up with myself that I don't necessarily see happening. First one being that the Eagles win 6 or less games in 2022. Another one I got is Melbourne to make the top 4 but don't win a final. Could happen. Probably won't. 7 players to poll 30 plus votes in the Brownlow medal. I mean, we saw it last year with like 5 or 6 finishing with 30 or more votes. It's honestly not a shock if it ends up happening again this year. And the last one I've got is 2 wingers are actually selected in the wing position for the All-Australian. That's probably the most outlandish of any big call so far on this video, because it just never happens, but it really should. Anyways guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Apologies if I didn't answer your big call in this video. I did get a lot of suggestions as I mentioned earlier, and if you want to be a part of videos such as this where I go over what you say on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's right there, Cardman22. Let's try and get to 2K followers by round 1. If you've got your own big call for this upcoming season, I would love to read it. So drop it down below in the comments. I'll take a look at them all. I do appreciate all the support. Can't wait to get stuck into the footy season. Only 18 days now. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you soon in my next video.
I think I will still not get into football and the AFLW will get more popular.